Norma telephoned me at home every Sunday evening, at 7 on the dot, to read me the rota for the following week. This became a ritual for us. "Hello," she'd say. "How are you?" And I'd reply, "Fine, thanks. How are you?" And she'd reply, "I'm ringing with the rota. Do you have a pencil?" And then she'd begin, always ending on a forecast. "It's the Harbour show a week on Saturday, so I expect they'll all be in for fancy dress materials." Or, "It's going to be hot. We'll probably have the sundress crew in." As the summer went on, Norma and I had a lot of fun. And if Mrs. Pavlou hadn't said on that first day that we wouldn't be friends, I'd have thought we very much were. Norma didn't laugh easily, but if something amused her properly, she might need her inhaler. Such as the time I pluralised the word bust to busts, and she almost died of oxygen starvation, and I'd had to turn the sign round on the door until she recovered. Or the time I realised that when Norma said lippity print, she meant Liberty print, our stock being slight seconds, the selvage smudged, and the B looking like a P. I knew the brand, not because I was a fabric expert, but because we had curtains at home in Strawberry Thief, and my mother was always collecting knickknacks to match, handkerchiefs and an egg cosy. And the time I'd thought Norma's gloved hand was a pincushion, and tried to stick a needle into it, and hearing her scream, a customer knocked the spinner over in her dash for the door, thinking a violent robbery was underway. Or the times customers dragged husbands in to choose trouser fabric, and Norma would ask them, "Are you sure the inside leg measurement is accurate, madam?" before she'd take them seriously. And the wife might say, "I think so," with a tiny note of doubt in her voice, and Norma would grab the tape measure and say, "Shall I just—" And the wife would step away from the man and look at the sequins out of decency, and we'd hear Norma ask, "Which side do you dress, sir?" And the man would say, "Oh, and have to imagine the precise location of his genitals at that moment in relation to the crotch seam on his trousers, and slightly shift his weight from one leg to the other to make certain of it, and then he'd sometimes say, 'To the left,' but more often, 'To the right,' and Norma would bob down, all the time looking him in the eye. Once she'd said, 'Oh, I thought you said left, sir.' And the man said, 'Sorry, I get mixed up with my left and right.' And Norma insisting there was nothing remotely amusing about this procedure, when I'd have the giggles afterwards, asking, 'What's so special about men that you fall about laughing? Perhaps you're not suited to haberdashery.' A rebuke I'd throw back at her, when she failed to be at all delighted by our matrimonial fabrics and appurtenances. Weddings were laughable to her. "Spending hundreds of pounds to get trussed up like a virgin, it's idiotic," she'd say, and the fact that our white and ivory silks were double the price of silk in any other colour seemed to corroborate this. She refused to wear cotton gloves to handle the ceremonial fabrics, and when a bride-to-be stepped up onto the bridal stool to have the proper adjustments made to an unfinished dress, and Mrs. Pavlou, talking through pins, might say, "Oh yes, this is really so beautiful," with the mother of the bride in tears, lips trembling, hands fanning her hot face, Norma would clear her throat and move around noisily to make the moment mundane and ordinary. But she also used to claim not to believe in sex before marriage.